Yo, what up? I figured I would give a little tour and show you how I've been doing my master on my tracks as of recent. Uh, yeah, so this is my track Hammer Burst that I dropped not too long ago, and this is I guess we'll start with what I actually have on the master channel, which is not much. I usually just start with EQ. Um, I'll do a is it 20 hertz plus 18 hertz or kilohertz cut. That's the preset, and then I don't really have anything going on for this on this track, but sometimes I want to cut a little high, sometimes I want to get rid of the low end, but you don't really want to do much here for the master anyway. And then yeah, I don't really have too much going on. Just a little sub boost or just a little high mid boost. And sometimes too, I'll throw a like a neutron EQ because sometimes I like that because you can kind of have like the EQ dip or you know reverse dip or boost, as it kind of moves, and that kind of gives it like I feel like more of a natural kind of sound to it. Anyway, and then yeah, then this is I'll put a fat filter Pro L2 or Pro yeah Pro L2, and this is basically the preset that I kind of put together, and I've been using it. Only thing, yeah, I feel like usually I'll do like a -1 for the ceiling. I'm not sure why it's 0.7. I don't remember, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, uh, so I've been using the aggressive style. I feel like it gets the tracks pretty loud. Um, I will note though, I do not enable anything on the master until like I'm basically done with the track. If you put stuff on the master like when you start, which is what I used to do a long time ago, you're gonna you're not gonna get the sound that you think you have. You're gonna because everything's gonna be you're gonna have the master going through everything. So when you take it off, it's gonna sound completely different, and it's just gonna you're gonna have an overall better, cleaner sound if you put it on last or towards the end um, of making the track. And I used to use Punchy because I used to think that sounded good, but again, as of lately, I just feel like it doesn't really. I feel like it just nerfs the loudness of a lot of the tracks. So aggressive, I feel like works good, but you have to be careful because aggressive is very aggressive, and you can make shit get distorted pretty easily and sounding like ass. Um, I don't actually have any boost on the gain. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, I guess. And to be honest, I don't really look at any of the meters. I couldn't really tell you. People talk about the LUFs. You want, I don't know, like negative. What do they say? Like, I'm not. I forget what they say. I don't know. But what people always say, oh, this many LUFs, whatever, whatever. Um, I'm not too concerned with that. I was for a while, but once you figure out, it's loud enough. It's loud enough. And then you want true peak limiting on, oversampling 8 I think is good. Dither off. And as far as like look ahead, attack, release, and all this stuff, this is kind of like trial and error. I mean, this could all still be shit. I used a bit of a ChatGPT to help me kind of set this up here, but I tweaked around a bit, and I feel like this works for the most part. If anyone's got suggestions, I'm open to it. Um, I'll just play it real quick so you can kind of see what's going on here.
Until we win or we die.
Yeah, so I mean, what was that like -3/4? I think that's what they usually say, like I don't know, somewhere like -4, -6 or something like that. But yeah, again, I'm not too concerned with that. Once you know get what you want to make sure it's like loud enough, I guess, right? But once you get past the point where you're like, okay, I know it's loud enough, then I don't really worry about it anymore. Because I used to worry about it a lot, but not anymore. Um, yeah, so that's what I have on the actual master track. And now I'll show you how I kind of set things up. Um, basically, I put everything now through a pre-bus. And so what I used to do is put, because on the pre-bus, I'll start with this. These are all basically the same. I guess sometimes I do, make slight adjustments, but for the most part, it's all the same. Yeah, I have a G clip and a Fruity Blood Overdrive. Um, Honestly, I don't remember how I came up with these settings here. But that's probably what I use. Yeah, it's probably I guess what I use just in my preset that I made. So yeah, it's been working for me. Again, I'm open to suggestions. But Fruity Blood Overdrive, I feel like is pretty sick. You should definitely take advantage of that for some saturation for sure. I feel like I'm using it a lot. Once I start using it, I use it all the time now. And I literally don't do anything. I just open it, leave it as is, and it definitely helps. But you don't want to go crazy because you don't want it to sound like distorted shit, unless it's what you're going for, you know. But basically now I'll take everything and kind of split it up into separate pre-buses. And the reason I do this is because I had an issue where I would basically have everything going straight into the master, and it would just cause major issues with like clashing and distorting, especially when you add a saturation on there. So the sub would be clashing with everything and it would just sound like shit. But I found out again through trial and error and ChatGPT that if I route everything separately and then put it into the master, if I do the saturation plus the G clip, before the master separate, it definitely cleans everything up. The only thing I don't route into the pre-bus is the sub. I do the sub straight. I mean, right here, I just have it going here. So this is just sidechain right here. Sometimes I'll do a fat filter sidechain. Um, but for this one, I did just for rebalance, and the free balance goes straight to the master. So I do the sub directly to the master. I feel like it just sounds cleaner that way. If I try to add saturation and stuff on it, it just ends up sounding like ass. In my case anyway. So yeah, that's what I do. So how I separate this usually is I'll separate the bass. So as my massives, like my main bass or main basses or whatever, and yeah, I gotta go to the side chain and then to this pre bus three, which is G clip, Fruity Blood Overdrive. Like I said, I keep this default, but I'll kind of adjust the levels here if I feel like it's too strong or not strong enough, depending on how I feel. And then yeah, separate everything. Like I'll do like the drums in one, the bass in another, FX and risers or whatever in another. And sometimes I won't put anything, or I won't put something through a pre-bus like the sub. Sometimes some hats or something I feel like this doesn't need any saturation or anything. I'll just put it right to the master. But I do separate the sometimes the snare and sometimes the kick. Sometimes I'll do it separate. Sometimes also like just through trial and error, I'll take the kick and I'll group it with either the bass or I'll group it with the drums. And kind of depending what you group things with, it kind of gives it a slightly different sound. Like it kind of just I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of just like blends it a little bit together. So sometimes if I put the sub in with more stuff in one track, it kind of gives it a more like fuller kind of kick sound or fuller kind of distorted kind of kick, which sometimes sounds good. Sometimes I'm not looking for that. So it's just all what you're in your vibe is. Um, and yes, I think that's pretty much it. Trying to think if there's anything else. But yeah, as you can see, like these are basically my drums I have going there. My bass goes there. Oh, these are just vocals I have, and the vocals are going to a separate one. Yeah. So I think that's about it. If I remember anything, I'll add at the end of the video, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, if what I'm doing you think is terrible, let me know. But I think it sounds okay. You know, from where I was at, it sounds a million times better. So I'm happy with it for now. But I'll give you. Sorry, but yeah, I'll play this out a little bit, give it another listen, and let me know down in the comments if you got any suggestions for me, or if this helped you out.
Until we win or we die.